So, as I told you the last class about Porter's 5 force, তো আমি আগে সেটা নিয়ে একটু বলি যে what is that? Basically, it is known as Porter's 5 forces model. Now, basically, if we see, it is basically an analysis tool that uses, you can say, 5 industry forces which can determine the intensity of competition actually in an industry and its profitability. The meaning of that is, I want to say, that is this is a tool by which we can analyze that what is the different measure, I mean, of by which we can analyze, we can get the level of intensity of the competition. Suppose we have an industry. Now, if we want to analyze that the level of competition in that industry, and then the level of profitability, we can use this Porter's 5 force model. Now, it's a very simple but powerful tool for understanding the competitiveness of your business environment, and you can also identify that how you can achieve profitability with this model. This is useful because when you understand the forces, different forces in your environment or in your industry that can affect your profitability, then obviously if you can understand the different forces behind this, then you will be able to adjust your strategy accordingly. I mean, if you know what are your different factors which can affect your profitability level or which can affect your competitiveness, who are your competitors, and what are their potentiality, then obviously you can adjust your strategy accordingly. I mean, suppose you are in telecom industry. Now, if in your telecom industry, if you know what are your competitors, who are your competitors, and what are their positive points, how they are earning profits and all that, and then accordingly you can adjust your strategy. Suppose you could take a fair advantage of a strong position or improve suppose আমি বলছি ধরো যে তুমি you are in telecom industry, in your industry there are XYZ competitors are there, and they are doing well by providing different services. Now, maybe you can find out that some aspects they are not covering. Suppose some services they are not able to provide quite well from a long time. So you can adjust your strategy according to that. You can concentrate on that service, providing that service, and you can take a better position in the industry, or suppose you can penetrate in the industry in that way. So that is the basic thing behind the Porter's 5 forces. Now, Porter's he has identified the forces like, first is competitive, we call it competitive rivalry. This looks at the number and strength of your competitors. As I told you, it looks at the number and the strength of your competitors. Competitor number of competitors, how much number of competitors are there, and what are their strengths. That means how many rivals do you have? Professional rivals. Who are they? And how does the quality of their products and services can be compared with yours? That is, the product what you are delivering and the products what they delivering. What is the difference? How you can compare it? I mean, are your products better than those products, or at par, or your product is inferior to them? So you can analyze. You can analyze it real time, and you can make your own strategy according to that. Now, suppose somebody is finding that his product is inferior to its competitors. So then the organization, that company can attract customers, maybe with some aggressive price cuts or maybe high impact marketing campaigns. So those are the strategies actually. Okay. So this is competitive rivalry. This is the first force, you can say. Next is the supplier power. It's the second force, you can say, the supplier power. This is determined by how easy it is for your suppliers to increase their prices. How many potential suppliers do you have? How unique is the product or service that they provide? And how expensive would it be to switch from one supplier to another? That means you have to analyze your suppliers as well. Who are they? How they are providing their services? Can you, I mean, if you are not happy on some of them, can you switch to somebody else? So this is basically assuming, I mean, analyzing the suppliers. Okay, so that is supplier power. Suppose, I mean, the more you have to choose from, the easier it will be to switch to cheaper attractive. Okay, so but the fewer suppliers there are, and the more you need their help, the stronger their position. I mean, joto number of supplier beshi hobe, toto it will be better for you. You can easily shift from one supplier to another. If you have, if you don't have, I mean, if you don't have adequate suppliers, then it will be difficult for you to switch from one supplier to another. In that case, suppliers' power will be greater than your power. I mean, they have much more better position. They will be in a better position than you. But if you have lots of suppliers, then there will be a healthy competition also among them to provide you better supply, better service. So obviously, in that case, you will be in a better position. So always you should try to increase your suppliers. I mean, number of suppliers. So ultimately, what you are doing, you are increasing your options. So that is supplier power. This is the second force, you can say. Next is the third force, is the buyer power. It's a very important, buyer power. Here, what you have to do, you have to ask yourself how easy it is for buyers to drive your prices down. That means how your, I mean, how many buyers are there, and how big are their orders. Okay, how much would it cost them to switch from your products and services to those who are your rivals? Are your buyers, I mean, strong enough to, I mean, dictate terms to you? That means you have to basically analyze that your number of buyers, their potentiality, are they stronger than, I mean, if you are not delivering good products, if you don't have much supply, if you're not able to deliver products at the right time, then obviously gradually buyer powers will be greater than the organization's power. In that case, a buyer will be in a position to dictate. That means buyer can drop down your price. How? the buyer will shift to another organization for the same product, as because buyer is getting the same thing in the right price over there. So obviously you will be you must have to drop down, cut down your price. So in that case, buyer is dictating. So that is basically buyer power. Next is almost the same thing, but in different way. That is threat of substitution. That is the next force, threat of substitution. This refers to the likelihood of your customers finding a different way of doing what you do. For example, suppose if you supply a unique software product that maybe automates an important process, people may substitute it by doing the process manually or by outsourcing. So a substitution that is easy and cheap to make can weaken your position and threaten your profitability. So you have to find out a product which is strong enough, which is not very easy to substitute. But if you are working with some products which is very easy to substitute, there are lots of available options are there, then ultimately you are weakening your position in the market. So that is basically threat of substitution. It is always there, basically, threat of substitution. Anybody can find out the substitute way. There are lots of things in our daily life. What we can do it our own also. Instead of buying it from market, we can suppose sanitizer. Let's take sanitizer as an example. Maybe the sanitizer, we are nowadays we are buying it from the market, but there are lots of people who can make sanitizers on its own. So in that case, it is not very difficult to substitute. So there will be a threat of substitution in this particular for this particular product. I mean, we can very easily prepare sanitizers. I mean, as the sanitizer, these things are new. I mean, from the last 6 months, we are just using this kind of thing. In future, if these things continues, lots of people can make it on his own. So there will be obviously a substitution. In that case, the sanitizers, the organizations who are providing these sanitizers and all that, they have to find out lots more attractive ways. So that is basically the threat of substitution, which is very easy. These products are very easy to substitute. You can anybody can easily get it or make it. So that is the thing. Same thing is with the some of the software products as well. I mean, in the software industry also, previously this kind of some kind of software which was very considered to be very high-end software, nowadays it is very easily available. So that's basically the thing is. Next is the fifth one, and the last one is the threat of new entry. That means your position can be affected by people's ability to enter your market. Now always market is open market, so anybody can enter into the market. So if the suppose a new entry, a new organization is coming to your market with much more ability, much more effective, much more attractive offers and good products, then obviously you will be in a position where you have to, I mean, your foothold will be in danger. So how easy is it to get a foothold in your industry or market? That is very much important. I mean, is it are you working in such kind of industry where anybody can enter at any time? If it is, then it's you should give a think twice. I mean, you should think it. Otherwise, you are in a safe position. But if it is an industry where anybody can come, then it's a risky thing. So that is basically how much would it cost. I mean, In your industry, is it very easy to enter because there is no need to not much investment is there. Your industry is not so much, not, you don't have so much regulations, government regulations and all that. If it is that kind of industry, then it is difficult to sustain in those kind of industry. So that is basically threat of new entry. So this Potters have explained these 5 forces, which is ultimately ultimately defining that how competitors, competition and profitability can be affected. How competitions and profitability can be affected. And Michael Porter, basically, he was a Harvard Business School professor. Okay. And this Porter's 5 forces, this particular model has been defined in 1979 in some of his publication. And it has become most popular and highly regarded business strategy tools. Any industry can go through these 5 forces and analyze the scenario. Okay, so again I'm telling you there are 5 forces. First one is competitive rivalry. Second one is supplier power. Third one is buyer power. Fourth one is threat of substitution, and the last one is threat of new entry. So this is basically Porter's 5 forces model. I hope I have given you a picture of it where I have discussed about it. I hope so.
Yes,
maybe yeah. When I have given you this, in which class? Last class or last to last class? I think last to last class, maybe.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, last to last class. So I'm trying to show you the thing again. I don't know where it is. It there or not? Just checking it. Let me check it. 1 minute. I think I've given you the diagram of it, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it should be there in the note. I don't know. I'm not finding it right now. Whatever. I will again share it. I'm not getting it right now, but I'm sure I will again share it for you. So actually, these are the things. Basically, threat of. If we see industry rivalry, how much rivalry are there, and then the you can say bargaining power of suppliers. That means how much your suppliers have the power of bargaining with you. কখন সেটা হবে? When the number of suppliers will be less than your requirement. It will be lesser than your requirement. In that case, the bargaining power of suppliers will be greater than your bargaining power. Because ওদের সংখ্যা বেশি, ওদের সংখ্যা কম, ওরা কিন্তু তোমার দরকার বেশি. So obviously, bargaining power of suppliers will be high. Then bargaining power of buyers. Again, if you think that if the same thing is available in the market, in lots of ways, then bargaining power of buyers will be higher than the power of you as an industrial, like that you can say. Then threat of entry, with the new entry, if in your industry it is very easy to enter in your industry, then obviously anybody can enter at any time. So threat of new entry, and with the threat of new entry, your competitions will be high. Okay, so threat of new entry is a factor. Threat of substitutes. I mean, if your customers have other substitutes, or it can be make them buy and they might by make them own, like that. I mean, then threat of substitutes will be there. So these are the 5 forces. Actually, these are the forces. These forces basically determine an industry structure, you can say, and the level of competition in that industry. Okay, the stronger competitive forces in the industry are the less profitabilities, as simple as that. Okay, an industry with you can say an industry with low barriers to enter, okay, having few buyers and suppliers but many substitute products and competitors, will be seen as very competitive, and thus it will be not so attractive due to its low profitability. So in that way, you can say you can define it like how you will define an attractive industry with high profits. How it will be, how you can define and how you will define an attractive industry where you will get high profits. Like high barriers to enter, যেখানে কত খুব সহজে ঢোকা সম্ভব নয়, বড় ইনভেস্টমেন্ট দরকার. So that is one point maybe. Weak suppliers bargaining power, supplier bargaining power নেই অত, because number of suppliers are less. Weak buyers bargaining power, buyers যারা আছে তোমার তাদের bargaining power ও কম, because তাদের কাছে অপশন কম, তখনই তাদের bargaining power কম হবে. Few substitute products or services, খুব বেশি লোক এই ইন্ডাস্ট্রিতে নেই, এবং লো কম্পিটিশন, এখানে কম্পিটিশন কম, obviously যখন এগুলো কম, কম্পিটিশন কম হবে. So you can define that is as an attractive industry or with high profits. But when we will consider an industry as an attractive industry with low profits, like when low barriers to enter, anybody can enter at any time. Strong suppliers bargaining power, as because the number of suppliers are lesser. Then strong buyers bargaining power, as because there are lots of other options are there in front of buyers. Many substitute products or services, there are lots of services, lots of products are available in the market in the same category, and intense competition, there are lots of competition. So that will be unattractive industry. So on the basis of this concept, Michael Porters have identified these 5 factors which can affect your competitiveness and profitability in the market. That is known as Porter's 5 forces model. Okay, hope you understand. I will share you the note later on. So that's basically the thing is, এগুলো আমরা আগের দিন অলরেডি দেখে এসেছি, আমরা আগের দিন করেছি. The thing is, again, today's attendance is very low. Only 17 of you are there, so this is again a thing to concern. I don't know why they are not joining, but it will be difficult for them. Whatever, I'm starting with today's things. Basically, in the last class we have seen the types of authority, like line authority we have discussed, then we have discussed with staff authority, and we have discussed with team authority. So this was our last class, I hope.
Yes sir.
Yeah. So after that, I suppose I have also discussed about delegation, some part of delegation. So delegation is basically the downward transfer of the formal authority from the supervisor to the subordinate. How the authority flow transferring from the up to down. So that's top to bottom. So that's basically the delegation. where the subordinate is empowered to act for the supervisor, but the supervisor remains it will be, supervisor will be remains accountable for the outcome. So that is about the delegation. But delegation has some advantages, like it can save the time, it can groom other people, and it can motivates. So these things we have discussed. I have just kept this for your about remembering purpose. Next, problems with delegation. What are the problems? Like, supervisor may fear if subordinate fails, because ultimately the responsibility will be on supervisor. If subordinate fails, responsibility will come on supervisor if it is delegated. If the things are delegated. So that is of concern. Then superior may think they don't have time to train subordinate. Okay, so that is maybe another thing. Then superior may want to hold and power and maintain a tight control of his assignment. So in that case, it will be difficult for subordinate to delegate the thing in the proper way. So that is another concern. Next, superior may enjoy doing the task subordinate to do. Okay, that is may happen. Delegation is needed, but as superior is enjoying the task, superior don't want to delegate it to its subordinate. So sometimes it happens. Next, superior may feel threatened by the subordinate. That is, it may reveal superior's shortcomings or subordinate's excellence. It happens. It happens quite often that superior don't want to delegate the things, the jobs to its subordinate, as because superior thinks that if it proves that your subordinate is in a better position to handle this thing, he is much more expertise on this, then it will be difficult for superior to sustain. So that is another thing. Superiors they concern about. Next is superior may not know how to delegate. That may also happen. Superior জানেই না যে কি করে আমি ডেলিগেট করব কাজটাকে, কি করে আমি কাজটা অন্যকে আরেকজনকে দিয়ে আমার সাবঅর্ডিনেটকে দিয়ে সাকসেসফুলি এক্সিকিউট করিয়ে দেব, because it needs, that is basically the management power, that is basically the management ability, skills, you can say. You should not say power, skills. Next, subordinate may fear risk of failure. Subordinate যদি confident enough না হয়, then subordinate can think that if I fail, then I'll be in a trouble. So that is these are some problems these problems comes with the delegation. Okay, and these are very common problems. Okay, so up to this we have covered. So today we will start with decentralization. Actually, basically decentralization and delegation, you can say it is related, somewhat related. Actually, decentralization means how we are distributing the job, basically how we are distributing the authority, distributing the power, whatever you say. Though power is not the right term for this thing, we should say authority, because power don't have any official decorum or whatever you say, but authority has. So power, we don't use this term. So basically centralization, decentralization starts from the point of centralization, where there are centralization, things are centralized, then in that case we need decentralization if it is needed at all. So basically centralization, then we are delegating those things, then it's become decentralized. So delegation, we can define it as authority but no responsibility, because when the things are delegated, then you have the authority to execute the job, but responsibility goes to your superiors. If it is delegated from your superior, if the job is delegated from your superior, then you are authorized to execute the job, but you don't have much responsibility, as because the responsibility goes to your superior. But this is not happen in practical life. I mean, if your boss is giving you a task, okay, you execute this, and if you do something which is not, you should not do, uh, your boss will be responsible. That is okay, but you will be also in, I mean, trouble. So practically, you have to be concentrate enough. You have to be concentrated enough to execute that job on behalf of your superior. Actually, you are authorizing, you have the authority to execute that job on behalf of your superior. That's all actually. And then so after delegating the job, then it is becoming, if it is becomes decentralized, I mean, suppose the job A, B, C, it is the responsibility of your superior. Initially your superior was doing this. Now your superior have other jobs also with this, like XYZ job has also, it is his responsibility, his or her responsibility, and your superior is not able to I mean, manage all these things, and job XYZ has much more importance than job ABC, then maybe your superior has delegated these jobs to his three subordinates. এক একজনকে এক একটা জব দিয়ে বললো তোমরা সেগুলোকে হ্যান্ডেল করো henceforth এবং আমাকে রিপোর্ট করো. So in that way it is delegated, and in that way it is I mean decentralized also. But in the decentralization, when it is decentralized, in that case you are authorized to execute that job and you are responsible also. If it is decentralized, যদি ডেলিগেটেড না হয়, ডিসেন্ট্রালাইজড হয়, তাহলে কিন্তু অথরিটির সঙ্গে রেসপন্সিবিলিটিটাও চলে আসছে তোমার উপর. So that is the basic difference between delegation and decentralization. In the delegation you have authority but you don't have responsibility technically, but in decentralization you have authority and you have responsibility as well. So these are the things basically how decentralization happens. Now if we see the definition, so definition you can say refers to the systematic effort to delegate to the lowest levels all authority except that which can only be exercised at higher levels. Okay, so definition is a little confusing, maybe it seems to be confusing. It says that refers to the systematic effort. You have the systematic effort, these things are doing in a systematic way. So systematic effort to delegate to the lowest levels. We are delegating our jobs to the lowest levels because superior to subordinate, as I told you, to delegate to delegate to the lowest levels all authority. Obviously delegation authority আমরা delegate করছি, except that which can be only be exercised at higher levels. সেই জবগুলোকে আমরা delegate করব না যে জবগুলো অনলি হায়ার লেভেলেই আমরা ম্যানেজ করতে চাই, যে জবগুলোকে হায়ার লেভেল থেকে ম্যানেজ করা উচিত, সেই জবগুলো বাদ দিয়ে বাদ বাকি জবগুলোকে আমরা যখন আমরা সিস্টেমেটিক ওয়েতে ডেলিগেট করছি, তো সেটাকে আমরা ডিসেন্ট্রালাইজেশন বলছি, সেটাকে আমরা ডিসেন্ট্রালাইজেশন বলছি. সো সেন্ট্রালাইজেশন টু ডিসেন্ট্রালাইজেশন, দিস ইজ দ্য জার্নি you can say for an organization. Because suppose an organization initially it was centralized, gradually with the time it was there was a need of time to decentralize that thing, to handle it much better way. I will come to that in my next session with some practical examples. We will discuss about some practical examples and we will discuss why it is needed and what is the advantage of decentralization and all that. So if you see there are lots of organizations initially যাদের হয়তো একটাই ব্রাঞ্চ ছিল, after that with the time and need of the market they have lots of branches now. So now it is there is a need to decentralize the things, decentralize the process. So how to handle it better? to manage it better. For those organizations, decentralization was necessary, and they have gone for it. So they have gone for it in that way. Actually, they have gone for it like, I mean, with the systematic delegation process, from lowest level, I mean from higher to lower level, with all authorities and all that, and in that way. Okay, so we will discuss it in our next session. So I'm coming to the next session. Join the next session. I will discuss over there. Okay. So I'm ending up this session because it is going to be end very soon. I'm giving you another link.